Welcome to the XSF Podcast, hosted by Devante and Lou. This is the podcast to show that every human is capable of being extreme. Tune in to discover how you are too. Welcome back, everybody, to another amazing episode of the
XTREME Podcast.
You know how we do it over here. And to kick off, little homie, let them know. XSF Podcast. We got a very special guest coming your way to kick off 2022. This man is a doctor in chiropractic, a performance coach. He is the founder of Prescript, the place where me and Coach Lou got our most recent certification from. Also is an elite FTS coach and the one of the hosts of the RX Radio podcast. Let's get a little drum roll going real quick. Hold on. We got the one and only Dr. Jordan Shallow coming at y'all today. The Muscle Doc, as Instagram would like to call him. This man is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to everything training and biomechanics, but we didn't really even go into that today. We dove more into how he operates on a day-to-day basis and also went back, to little shallow days, to hockey shallow, to skateboarding shallow. That's right, I said skateboarding. So if you want to know more about all of that, make sure you tune in because he's definitely gave me and Lou some insight on how to be more tactical with the podcast, the business, with just the way we operate throughout life. So if you want to learn how he does things, definitely stay tuned and listen to the entire episode. Before we hop into it, we got to give a shout out to our sponsors. Thank you, Third Layer Skate Park and Skate Shop. They have these amazing new hoodies, the Slingshot hoodies for our beloved Henry Gartland, who passed at the beginning of 2021. All proceeds from these sweatshirts are going to the Henry Gartland Foundation. So go check out the website. Everything's down in the description and go copy a hoodie. These things are so comfy. They're so fresh. They got a yellow one as well with the same logo. I'm rocking the off-white if you're not watching on the YouTube channel. But I'm telling you, these hoodies are comfy. They're warm. And your money's going toward an amazing cause. So go check them out. And also Monte Costo Skateboards. We love you guys. Thank you. And I'm loving the new board that I'm riding right now. Amazing shape, amazing pop, and they're super crazy durable. And also, last but very much so, not least, the thing that gets me up in the morning, keeps me going, Batch Roasting Co. Thank you, Batch Roasting Co., for putting some delicious, amazing coffee in our cup. We very much so appreciate it. And you know what? This might not be a sponsor, but we got to talk up extreme strength and fitness anyway. So, hey, we have a bunch of new stuff coming really, really, really soon. Me and Lou have been working very hard on multiple different programs, and then also something pretty special that we got coming to our website. So just stay tuned for all that. But I want to let you guys know it is coming. We have programs that are going to be up for sale. I have my program that is like a baby to me. The first skateboarding specific program that I have ever wrote, putting out there for the world. So that program is going to be pretty awesome in my eyes. It's something that's going to be utilized for skateboarders who just want to skate for the rest of their lives. It's not necessarily geared toward performing better and being, the best skater or trying to go and get ready for a contest per se. That's coming. But what this program is going to be all about is really just, getting skaters to move their body outside of skateboarding so they can, one, feel better on their board, and two, off their board, and continue to live the lives that they live. Because I know if you love skating as much as I do, you don't ever want to stop. You want to be that 80-year-old out there cruising the bowl still. And I know that this program can be a huge, huge, huge factor in that for all my fellow skaters out there. So I had to give myself a little shameless plug right there, let you guys know. And Lou has an amazing volume program, more so hypertrophy based, and just really getting down the skill of certain lifts. We have a mobility program, mobility challenge, a bunch of really cool stuff coming out that we've been busting our butt on, honestly, over this whole entire last year. I mean, ever since we got together, and this has been something that we've been really driving forward, and it's coming. So I wanted to throw that out there as well, but I'll stop talking your ears off and let you get into the amazing conversation that we have today with Dr. Jordan Shallow. I hope you all enjoy.
I didn't even see the 5 this time.
You didn't see the 5? It said 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 for me. But hey, real quick, Lou, you always refer to this man as what's the Beast? Is that what it is? The Beast from X-Men?
Yeah, that's what he looks.
Yeah, so
that's what he reminds me of.
Jordan,
we're gonna get sentimental about it.
Let's hear about. Let us know who you are a little bit. Give us a little bit of an origin story.
Oh, geez. How far back do you want to go, man?
As far as we can.
So that's the thing. Like, I've heard the fitness stuff. I've heard that background, how you got into it, but I want to go back. Like, let's go back a little farther.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm from Newfoundland originally. It's a small island province off the northeastern coast of Canada. I grew up mostly in this kind of blue-collar town in southwestern Ontario, just opposite Detroit, Michigan. And yeah, played hockey. That kind of got me into fitness. And I grew up in a place where as long as you didn't get into drugs, you were meant to be doing pretty well for yourself. And I got the fuck out of there real quick. And I went to school in Toronto, and then I moved to California to keep going to school. And then I think the fitness stuff kind of picks up there. But yeah, I don't know. It's like a scrappy little ghetto kid that went to school and kept going to school. And then hated school so much that I figured I would just teach for a living.
Makes sense.
It does.
Makes sense.
So what age did you get into playing hockey and stuff then? How old are you?
Oh, dude, before I could walk, I could skate.
Really?
That's kind of the Canada story. Yeah,
Yeah,
super young. Maybe like realistically, like 4 or 5. Like I was probably on skates at like 3 or 4, playing hockey semi-competitively by like 5 or 6, and then traveling, 5, 6 nights a week from the age of 7, playing hockey till the age of 20, 21, until I kind of transitioned into lifting as my sport.
Did you play in college then when you were for a little bit, or was that like right before then?
No, I played. Excuse me. I played in while I was attending undergrad, but I played at the junior level, so I didn't play for the university. I played for like a sub league. Think like AAA ball or something like that.
Okay,
that would probably be like the equivalent of the level I played.
What was your favorite part of playing hockey?
It's hard, right? Because I was a goalie, so it's like it wasn't. It isn't a team sport like that for specialty positions. Like in the same way, like a quarterback or like a pitcher. It's like, yeah, it's a team effort, but it's like this guy could blow it. Like it's never your fault if you win, and it's always your fault when you lose. Yeah. So I liked that. Like I almost like the disproportional amount of risk to reward, because it was very like everyone will know, like if we win 1-0, I won that game. But if we lose 2-1, I lost that game. So it's like it calibrates your expectations really well. So I like that it was kind of all on me, even though it was a team sport. I could sit there and point fingers and be like, "Oh, my defense," and blah blah blah. But like everyone's like, "Yeah, but if you just stop the puck, like then we wouldn't have had this problem."
Yeah.
So I like that aspect of it. That it was like there was camaraderie to it. The like locker rooms are fun, and like my best friends on this earth are kids I grew up. I got a tattoo. That tattoo right there, I got like last week, and that's my minor hockey team, and I got that with one of my closest friends from when I was like 7 years old.
That's so
it's like you definitely get like camaraderie and friendship, but the fact I was a goalie, it's still like there was no passing the buck. Like you definitely had to take responsibility for either doing your job or not doing your job.
Did you know that going into being a goalie? Like, how'd you pick the position, or did it pick you because you're a pretty bigger dude?
Yeah, kind of the latter. I mean, I started playing player as a kid, and then the team I was playing for didn't have a goalie, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I wasn't like a great player, and as I transitioned, I like started to like grow a bit, and it was just like a good fit, and I enjoyed that aspect of it, but never really thought twice about it. Like it was like, oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. We need a goalie, so the team can keep playing, and I'll just do that, and did that, and it kind of like worked out, and just that was probably around like 12 or 13, and then it's right around the time where like started to put on like a bit of size, and then that really started to differentiate me from other players or other goalies, and then yeah, just sort of catapulted from there.
What I thought was interesting was you said like the whole like having that pressure on you, that you liked that. Do you see that carrying over like into the rest of what you do? Because there seems to be quite a bit of pressure put on you when it comes to,
I'd say
the whole
so.
prescript stuff and everything. Seems like you might have transferred that into the rest of your life. I don't know if you noticed that for yourself or not, but I'm just curious because it sounds like it was kind of embedded there maybe a little bit, and then you kind of were like, all right, this is what I like to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've always like gravitated. I think hockey was probably just a manifestation of that. Like I've
Mhm.
always kind of been not really one to go with the grain, so to speak. Like,
Yeah.
I'd work at the door in nightclubs and everyone else is trying to go in. Like I'd be the one person on the ice that was facing the complete other direction of the other 10 people. So, yeah, I think it's more. I don't know if hockey manifested that or that manifested the position in hockey, but definitely something where it's like I think I like the responsibility more than the pressure. Like I don't really look at it as pressure. I just like the fact that it's like, oh, okay, if it's on my shoulders to get something done, I know it'll get done. Which is like obviously from a business perspective is a good freedom to have to just be able to know that it's you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And if I want to get a lot out of it, well, it's easy for me to put in the work. Like that part's always come natural or easy.
I think that's, yeah, I like how you said like accountability, I guess would be a better way of saying that then. Because like even as the goalie, like if you didn't show up and you weren't really accountable for, like, hey, I just didn't play good that day, like there's no other excuse than that. So I think that's interesting. You when we talked beforehand, I know you said you did skate before. So how
Yeah.
how how often?
Skateboard.
Yeah, dude. How often did that happen? Like how did that happen?
Oh man, ninth grade, a couple of my buddies got into it. I got aboard, just sort of rode around. You can't. I was into like mountain biking as a
Yep.
kid, but you couldn't mountain bike obviously for a considerable amount of time during the winters. I mean, you know this. Fucking, you both grow up north, so it was like we had an indoor skate park called Ian's Old Skate Shop, and it was heated, and there was like a half pipe and shit. So I was like, all right, well, this will suffice for biking for a winter or two. And then it's just like, I think I ended up breaking my hand in a fight. Um, and then that was kind of the end of my skateboarding career. It was short lived, probably like
Been
a
there.
summer or two.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, if I fucking fall on this, which at that point I was falling a lot, I was probably not going to be able to play hockey or do anything. So I was like, well, we'll give the skateboarding thing a rest. And that kind of just went the wayside. And then basically picked up lifting weights the summer after that. And that was kind of it for basically anything that wasn't just working out.
So skateboarding was the catalyst to what he is now. You heard that? Right after skating, he started picking up the weights.
Nah, dude, that was punching someone and
I
breaking
guess,
someone.
but
I
still,
was gonna say,
If you
but
love
skate,
skating, you just still keep
I'm
skating.
just gonna put it on skating because I'm biased that way anyway. So, would you ever get on a board again? You gotta know. Would you?
probably not,
No,
man. No,
too
I'm
much
like,
risk.
I got to be pretty, yeah, and that's it. Like, I don't want to say I have to be pretty careful, but like, you know, my body to a certain degree is still a large part of my business.
Yep.
So I can't really sacrifice going down with like, a Liz Franks or an ACL or, a broken scaphoid or something like that. So it's, yeah, probably not something that I would pick up. I've been on like snowboards and like I've tried to surf and all that. That yeah, mechanically for me, it's like I know my limitations, and I can fucking growing up on skates, I can rollerblade circles around most people, but just like the fixed stance with that whole skateboarding, surfing,
Mhm.
snowboarding vibe, my brain just like melts. Like these things got to move individually,
See, and
but
that's
no,
opposite for me. That's totally opposite. Like if I get on skates, like if I try to go ice skating or I rollerblade, like it takes me a hot minute to feel comfortable. Like it just feels weird having my feet go different ways. So I think it's kind of funny. Yeah, it's totally weird for me. Like if I tried to ski or
But
anything, I just totally go just splits all day. Just feels weird. I don't like it.
within shallow, you like powerlifting, which is you keep your feet right there.
yeah, yeah, definitely not a sprinter by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, I couldn't
Yeah, no.
see much
So
of
how
that
did you
going on.
gravitate towards that? Like lifting heavy?
Powerlifting.
Yeah.
So I trained for hockey. Like, I played like a decent level as a kid. So, there was a potential opportunity to try and like really push it and see what I could make of hockey from like a career perspective. But, so I just got into lifting weights to get better at hockey, and that was like started off very like boilerplate, kind of what people would call like plyometrics or calisthenics or something. Which like I have to realize now, it's kind of a silly approach. I had like a trainer who was probably 2 into it, and then he got fired, and then my new trainer that I had, who's now like one of my closest friends, was like, "Why don't we just get you really strong?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever, man." I was like 16 years old, and this guy was jacked out of his mind. So I was like, "Okay." And then turns out like that's actually the best thing you could do for youth athletic development is just get kids really fucking strong. So it was just sort of like, the squat or like hinging and squatting and all that was really just a tool to get better at sports. Like when I first started lifting, I had no other motivation than to just be a better athlete. And then, as you get a little older, like if you're not being touted for the NHL at like 18 or even 19 is a little bit old, they're probably not in the cards for you. I was like, oh fuck, like this hockey thing came and went quicker than I anticipated, and but I still wanted to be competitive, and just by like happenstance of really wanting to be a good hockey player, I was getting, stronger than most hockey players in the weight room, and then turned into being stronger than most powerlifters in the weight room, just because I'm like, well, the stronger in my brain, I'm like, well, the stronger I get, the better I'll be at hockey, and I want to be really good at hockey, and I got really, really strong, and then when I was in California, I was going to chiropractic college, and I got linked up with this dude who was my first patient while I was graduating school, and his name is Dan Green. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Dan,
Yeah, he's
but
jacked.
yeah, he's jacked as
He's
fuck.
an animal. He's an
So we
animal.
kind of just like
Sure.
traded services where I would treat him, and then he would coach me, and he like just signed me up for my first meet one day, and I was like, what? And like so at the time I was training with him, who he was at the time, he held like 11 world records. And then our other training partner, Andrew, he held a handful of world records. So I was going into my first powerlifting competition, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get annihilated because I'm used to getting annihilated every day in the gym with my training partners. And then I showed up, and I think I had the biggest total by like 400 pounds in my weight class. And I won best lifter, best overall lifter, best of my weight. And I was like, holy fuck, okay. Like then I put into perspective, like, oh, actually my training partners are just really, 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 really fucking good. And that was, that was it. I was like, well, let's just try another one, and got invited to a few cool ones. And I just kind of kept it rolling from there.
And you said you had like 400 pounds on the like second place for your total then?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
So that's like that whole idea of like keeping your people around you like real good and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, because if you're training with animals like that, and you're not even realizing it, and then you go into like that, you're comparing yourself to record holders.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was fun. Like I had no idea that, and I'd never peaked for a meet before either. So I was lifting, I think my total in my first meet was 1721,
Wow.
which was a 6 something squat,
Jesus.
a 621 squat, a 413 bench, and a 666 deadlift. And I was just like, okay, I guess. I mean, that's usually what these guys start warming up with. And then, but yeah, environment was such a huge piece. It continued to be like, I was able to put another 200 pounds on my total in a couple of years, just being around chasing guys that you'd never be able to catch.
I find that very interesting because I see like that in myself too with skating. Like one of my friends is pro, like his board's right here on the wall, and like growing up skating with them, like just for years and years and years, they were always like that much better. But I didn't like look at it like that. It was just like, these are the people I skate with. Like, this is just normal. We're here to skate, show up, and trying to always kind of catch up to them. And then realizing like, damn, it got me a lot farther than I thought it would have. Like now that I look back on it like that. So it's kind of cool to hear you talk about it like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Shit's amazing. Like I went the exact opposite route. I hung out with a bunch of losers, and we were just the best at doing drugs and shit. So that's what I really connect with that. Like, oh, and I see it more. Like I work out in some gyms in New York City when the biggest competition is the guy putting a weight. You know what I mean? Like I realize that more and more to push more. It's almost like I surround myself on the internet because I don't actively search much in person. I have a natural way of not liking things, but on the internet you find those people. You know what I mean? And I think that's huge to put yourself around some high achieving people. Because obviously it will produce some high achieving people.
Well, that I think is smarter in like doing what you did on the internet is probably like the most underrated, understated thing that people could do. because it's like that's where the majority of our influence come from. If 93% of communication is nonverbal anyways, like what you're going to pick up from the people that you follow, like it used to be, you're probably going to be a reflection of the top 5 people you hang out with. But like you could probably say the same thing for the top 10 profiles that you follow or like feeds that you engage in or something now, right? Like, I'm not going full blown like Sims metaverse or whatever the fuck this new bullshit is, but like at a certain point, like you get to curate that neighborhood any way you want, right? And as long as that follows you into the real world, I think that's like really smart. Because I know people that in the like, real world, quote unquote, they surround themselves with high achieving people, and then they go on fucking scrolling reels for 5 hours. It's like, where there's all that down the fucking drain. Like there's all that, that Mensa meeting. Like if you're fucking sitting at some round table, think tank, and then you go home and you're just like going through TikTok, it's like you might as well drive a railroad spike through your fucking brain. Like it's totally useless.
It's wasting your time. No, I like that you brought up too that like if it's transferable to, like you said, the real world, like what you're doing in the real world, because I think that brings it back to what you just said there. Like, are you then using those conversations to go, like me and Lou, we met through what you do, and I want you to talk about that shortly here in a second. But like with that, me and him met, and it's something that I think is cool because we could have just like said, hey, yeah, cool, like that's awesome, we have the conversation. Then if one of us wasn't actually like trying to pursue this in our lives outside of the internet, we would have just never kept the conversation going and actually partnered up and made this happen. He wouldn't have come here to Minnesota. Like one of us would have just been on our phone doing whatever at night. So I think it's interesting that you said that, because I think that's just something that's missed a little bit when it's talked about, is like the transferability into your actual life. So I love that you brought that up.
Well, yeah, because it takes a decent amount of self-awareness to have an objective outcome, to realize that the interactions you have online actually influence you in a positive manner in a way that is meaningful to you, right? So I think it's like if neither of you were self-aware of what you guys wanted to do, you wouldn't have been able to pick up on that intangible that was communicated online. You wouldn't have noticed it in your times between that we would call real life. You wouldn't have noticed, like, you know what, like I fuck with this dude, right? Like, and I'm sure, like, I had that literally yesterday. I was like walking around and I was having a bad day. And I was pissed off at a lot of people. It's like, well, there's no use at being pissed off at people. It's like, who am I never pissed off at? And I literally just messaged Lou. I was like, yo, I fucking appreciate you, dog. Because it's like, I could message the 10 people that are pissing me off, but it's just going to piss me off. And it's like, all right, well, fuck. Like, I know, like, I have a decent level of, at least I think I do, of self-awareness to be like, all right, well, I'm not going to, and guess what? All the negative shit, guess where it fucking came from? It all came from the fucking internet. And I was like, in walking around in my day-to-day life, like, this is expensive real estate. Why are they living rent-free up here? And I was like, fuck that, man. Like, that's negatively affecting me. And like, they don't have any idea, these 10 people or whoever that was pissing me off. So I was like, you know what? Who positively impacts me online? And I just DM Lewis like, yo, you're the GOAT. And then that was it. And I went on my day and it was just like, real estate cleared up and then it was good. But like, I think that's what people miss, right? Is like, they miss that self-awareness to be able to understand or identify like, hey, these interactions online can be meaningful because in the times between these interactions, there's a positive impact on my day-to-day, and I see that, right? I see that I'm different as a consequence of these interactions. I want to interact more. But yeah, I think people just miss that key piece of like, anyone can talk a good game online, but if you're not aware as to how that's affecting you in your day-to-day life, then you'll never know where to start like chasing down these rabbit holes.
No, that's awesome. And we're speaking about, all this online talk and, creating relationships and stuff like that. And I want you to kind of explain what do you do? What do you do online? How what yeah, there we go, looking for the laugh. What do you do? How did we get here?
I just tell people, people always ask me in the airport what I do for a living. And I've honestly, I hand to God, I've just taken to tell people that I deal drugs.
I mean, it's easier.
It's like way easy. Yeah. No follow-up questions. Like, why are you like, I fly a lot. I got like status with a lot of airlines. So I'll be like sitting up the front of the plane with the pilot. And he's like, what the fuck is this kid doing? Yeah, what do I do? I don't know. I guess like on paper, the IRS is concerned. I own a few companies. But I don't know. I think about stuff. I write some of that stuff down. I yell some of it into the internet in various mediums. It's different. Basically, I do. And you know what's funny? I was thinking about this the other day. I was talking to someone like trying to answer this very question, and I haven't clearly got a good grasp on it. But what I do is just what's left when I stop doing all the stuff I didn't want to do.
That's a good answer.
Like it's constant.
Wow.
It's me concentrate. Like it's literally like I always think of, and you guys have probably heard this quote before, but you guys know like Michelangelo's David.
Yeah.
So there's a quote. It's like from Michelangelo. He's like, "Beauty is the purgation of superfluidities," which is like that's a lot of syllables. But basically, it's like when he made the David, it was a giant rock. Like it was already there, right? So like he didn't build it; he carved it. So like my job is just like I don't want to work 9 to 5, so I just take that giant chunk and I fucking got rid of that. And I don't want a boss, and I got rid of that part. And then I'm like, I don't, I don't want to be in the same place all the time. So I got rid of that. And then I'm like, well, I want to work in fitness. So I got rid of anything that wasn't really fitness. And I want to work with, some athletes. And I want to do some stuff online. And I want to have a podcast. And I don't want to have TikTok. And I don't want to have to do, my taxes. So I'll have this person do it. And then it's just like, I'm just left with this statue of whatever I do every day. And it's like totally different. Like I was fucking on my hands and knees, putting down baseboards, laminate flooring, and sitting here with a brad nailer and an air compressor till 11 o'clock last night. And then this morning I talk to you guys for a bit, and then I'll order some camera gear. I'll book a few flights. I'm kind of a travel agent. I don't know. But it's just like it's just like, and I think that's what people struggle with is like they try and build like, oh, what am I going to do? Like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. It's like, it's already there. You just kind of like get rid of all the noise, and then you just kind of just do what's left. So that's really, it's kind of a backwards answer, but it's like, that's how I've arrived at this. It's just like, I just got rid of the shit I didn't like. And I had like the white picket fence life. Like I had that on paper.
I was just going to ask you about that because I know I've heard you talk about
that
before.
25, doctor status in front of the name, working at like the biggest liquid asset company in the entire world. Like the ex-wife was an Olympian, had a dog, like, and I was fucking having anxiety attacks like fucking every week. And I was like,
the American dream,
dude.
That's right there what you just said.
Like that's
Once you added, I had anxiety attacks and went to the hospital. Just Ed, and then I did nothing about it, and I just took the pills they gave me. That's the American dream.
Dude, I was making 6 figures out of school.
Yeah.
Laughing, dog.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Like
100K starting, like easy fucking, my schedule was full for 3.5 months in advance. Great profile, like, I was rubbing shoulders with, Silicon Valley bigwigs. And
what was that like?
It was a trip. It was
like, what were they like?
Yeah.
Because I picture like vampires.
Yeah, they're real. Like the people I fuck, and that's the thing. Like I still keep in touch with a lot of them now, and it's like it's the only. And maybe it was just I was lucky, but like all of the people that that were like high up in big Silicon Valley companies, like they were all. Honestly, a lot of them, Devante, I think 3 or 4 of them were actually from your neck of the woods, like from the Midwest, like blue collar, worked their way up, like. And that was the thing. Like, I think I put on them that they were something different to make myself feel validated. But it's like, nah, they were real as fuck, man. Like, when I was hospitalized, I was like, the first person I called was the director of the Stanford University Hospital ICU. Like, he was the head cardiothoracic surgeon, and like, dude was like gangster. Like, he would do stuff for like NASA and like how to do emergency surgeries and like space and shit. Like it's like just on another level. But I hit him up and he's like, "Get your fucking ass in here." And like, he straight up like, I didn't pay for nothing. He rushed me past. Like they were good people.
Is that when you got hit by what happened there?
Nah, that was another time. I was riding my bike. I was riding my bike to the gym and I got fucking T-boned by a Chevy Suburban.
Yeah.
But I think it's easy for people to like, it's lazy for people to look at some like, people like in positions of power and try and be like, oh, they're different, they're this, they're that. It's like, no, because if you knew they were just like you, then the ball's in your court as to why you're not in their position, right? It's exactly where it should be. Yeah. It's like, no, man, like, and yeah, that's a really good comparison. Like, I've met a handful of guys just through my career that are in that world, and people want to be like, oh, they're so strange. Like, no, they're not. They're the most like normal people ever. But it's easy and it's lazy to just be like, oh man, like they're weird, they're different. Like, oh, they're not. It's just you're
Do
fucking
you
lazy, and it's easy for you to just be like they're different. So that's why I'm not in their position.
do you think like maybe being around, because like this was after you got into the lifting and stuff, correct? When you had the coaches who, you got into powerlifting, or was this beforehand then?
When I was having anxiety attacks,
Yeah, like when you're going through all that
around the same time.
around the same time.
Yeah, kind of ran hand in hand.
I was just thinking, just because the way you were talking about, like, the coaches you had, and then going into, working with these big wigs and stuff, and being able to just see them as other human beings. Like, did you get that, do you think, like from a younger age, just from being in situational stuff when you were growing up, and just being able to be like, well, this dude's just this dude. Like, I'm not going to worry about what he thinks or how I do things just because he's just another human? Or where do you, just sounds
I,
like you've had that in you for a while.
it always helps, like, if you put in the work on the front end, like, because a lot of times in the Silicon Valley, if I was entering a room with these people, I was entering at some point of authority, like whether it's a chiropractor or like a strength coach or a trainer, like they're kind of coming to me. So, and knowing that I've done the preparation work to be the dude in the room that they need to talk to gives me the confidence to be like, all right, like let's put all the cards on the table here. Like it gives you not like it's a negotiation, but like I have the ability to walk away,
Yeah.
right? And that's the most powerful person in a negotiation is the guy that can walk away. So I never, and it, not like it was hostile or anything, but it was always a sense of confidence of like, spent better part of like 8 years, 9 years in school. I probably thought more about the topic at hand than the majority of people, at least a client in the room or a patient in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I think it really stemmed from like trusting the preparation that went in and just having confidence like that I was in a position where I could help the person. And I think that's still like kind of an upper hand that I still draw on, or I still look to like better informing myself and being better prepared to walk into more intimidating rooms even now in my career. And it's like the more intimidating the room, the more prepared I have to be. So that's really like I think the big takeaway for me is like if I ever had like trepidation or was ever concerned about like like, oh, this guy's a Hollywood actor, this guy's an NFL, whatever. It's like, okay, you're concerned that you're not as good at what you're doing as they are at what they do. And it's like, I just make sure that's never the case.
Well, I think that's very valuable information for people to hold on to, because I've had to use that myself just in certain situations coming into just anything, like where you just might feel nervous or whatever the case may be. It's just like, just know, like, you did the work, like show up and just do what you do. Like that's bottom line, like do that and just keep doing it. I think that's awesome that you brought that up. How do you keep doing this stuff? So I know it sounds like maybe it's because you've now gotten to this statue of this part where you can just kind of keep doing what you want to do. How do you keep that going for yourself? Is it just waking up, just doing what you want to do, and it just happens to bring you along the path, or is there any planning to that?
No, dude, it's equal parts technical and tactical.
Yeah.
I think that's where people drop the ball. It's like you have to understand leverage. You have to like that is the number one. Like if I'm going into a job interview to work with someone, it's like I'm at the point now where it's from the technical side. Yeah, like we chase down any rabbit hole of like anatomy or training. I'll be a couple sound bites in at the very least. I'll be able to really deep dive on stuff that I really like have focused on. But you're not going to blindside me with anything that I think matters. Like if you come out the gate, if a client's like, "Well, heard of this new like crystal healing," I'm just like, "All right, I'm pretty sure." Like, and I'm not brash enough to be like, "Yeah, fuck you, that's stupid." Like if that's what you believe in, sure. But we're also going to do X, Y, and Z. But it's also like, I'm going to know the dude's dog's name. I'm going to know his stat line from the previous season. I'm going to know the relationship he has with his coach. I'm going to go on fucking his old MySpace account. Like, you should see the preamble that goes into like the dossier file folders I have on people. And it has nothing to do with anything technical and it's all tactical. It's like, I want to know what high school this kid went to. I want to know where his old lady's from. I need an in on a personal level because he doesn't know what I do. Like, he doesn't know the difference between me and some fucking TikTok chiropractor or whatever. But if I can, like, oh, if I can know his girl is from whatever, like a place that I free, like, oh yeah, no, like I'll bring up Miami in a conversation if I know that his old lady's from Miami. Like, oh shit, I didn't know that. Yes, I fucking did. Are you joking me?
Yeah.
I knew this 3 weeks ago. I've been studying you. Like, that's where people just, you can know all the fucking training shit in the world, but if you don't know people, you don't know anything. And there's so much information that's readily available that people don't think. I don't want to say they don't think it matters, but they don't pay any attention to it. They're like, oh, what's the insertion of the gastroc? Like, are you fucking, dude? That there's no way that matters. If that matters, you're the wrong guy for the job. So I think, yeah, it's now it's more like I've invested way more time into that part of things. Is like, to keep doing what what I'm doing, at least on like the with the athletes I work with. It's very much just like relationship building, like building, a certain rapport, finding common ground, like breaking down those barriers between, two strangers. And then once that's good, then it's like, all right, let's go off into the technical bullshit.
I got a question for you. When did you realize the community thing that you've created with Prescript? Like, when that would be such a... Because I was thinking about that today when I was in lab, and I was like, ain't that a bitch? Like, you pay for one Prescript course, and you can be at all these labs that continuously run. Prescript after prescript, PSL1, PSL2, skill acquisition, barbell. You got all these courses, and it's live action. You can be in there every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, all that. Like, when did you put that? Because, like, you don't, at least in my experiences in the fitness world of NASM and all that other shit, it's like, buy this one, buy that one, buy this one. Like, you're going to keep pumping your stuff, but you want to learn to show up to labs.
Yeah.
Like, when did you realize, is that part of the human connection part more so than just educating and telling you shit, but getting to know each other? Like, did you put that together with the way you even operate with your athletes?
I don't think I ever could have predicted that labs would have turned into what they were. It was really like labs in the onset were the purpose of them was purely academic. Was like, all right, I want to make sure that in the hour, because I just like, what did I like about university? It's like, yeah, lectures and labs. That's what I liked about it. What did I not like about it? I didn't like having to find parking. I didn't like having to fucking, like I didn't have to deal with like junkies fucking walking me back to my car trying to get the change out of my cup holder. Like, all right, well, lectures and labs are cool. We have lectures. Like, let's just do labs. And then, for the first year, I ran all the courses and all the labs, and then I started bringing in help, and then it just kept evolving. Like I originally it was purely academic. It was really just to make sure that the content was being applied in a way that it was intended to, because I didn't want to be more fucking bullshit noise on the internet. And I think through that we reach people who were also sick of bullshit noise on the internet. And then we realized like how rare that was. And I think everyone kind of identified like, holy fuck, like this is, talk to our previous conversation, like this is changing objective outcomes in my day to day between these interactions. So this is something that I want to keep coming back to. Right. So we're lucky that we're able to just reach enough self-aware people who can find value in the community. Which, I don't think it's something that it wasn't forced, like as technical and as tactical as I can be in some things. This was not one of them. This wasn't like I was sitting there going like, yes, we'll do this lab and everyone will connect and the brand will be really strong. I was like, I don't want people fucking up what I'm saying. So I don't want people like, I don't want this to look bad on me. And then, and it's like, I get it. I've sat in courses before and like not been interpreting things properly. So it's like, I just want to make sure that like the content gets through and is applied in a way as it was intended. And then, but never once was the conversation around like community building at all. And now it's like, I say it's the best part about the courses is just the in-between is like the just the conversations like in the hallway, so to speak, which are the labs.
Yes, I was gonna say, I know, like for me, I love that you brought up like it was just the people that you attracted through it all, because I was thinking that the whole time. I was just like, when I came to lab the very first time, it was so different in the fact of like it was just a level playing field. Like everybody had their own background, but we literally were all on the same level playing field of like the conversation at hand. That's all that mattered. No one else was like, hey, I have this degree or I have this certification or blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we learned this. We're talking about this. Like, let's talk about this. This is what matters at hand. And then like from there, you just end up hitting up these people, and everybody that I've hit up is reciprocated back with respect. And it's just been this cool thing. I mean, that's, like I said, how literally me and Lou met was, I think maybe you reposted me and then he saw it, hit me up, or vice versa. And then boom, the rest is history. So it's pretty sweet what you created. And I love that. Like it wasn't necessarily planned, but it just came into when you saw it happening. Did you want to like run with it more? Like when you notice it kind of coming that way, like you'd be like, okay, maybe we should think this through a little bit more, or you just kind of let it go do its thing?
No, definitely not. That doesn't sound like me. No, because it's like when Jordan and I like kind of noticed like, oh fuck, like these are going well. It's like things that are cool are scarce. That's what makes them cool.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like for a little bit, it's like, okay, we got to make sure that the quality scales, right? So like, we got systems in place now, and we got like coaches at the ready to be able to step in, and like we've been able to kind of capture the essence of like what makes a good lab, and like we're lucky that we get very concise feedback from all our coaches, Bax, Bagheera, Thayer, Mac, Jay, Killian. So now we're at a point where it's like, okay, we can make sure that like this isn't a runaway train. Like I would hate to just for it to turn into just something that is not intended, something that wasn't progressive, something that wasn't useful, right? Like there's enough fucking bullshit trolls on the internet. And it's like the last thing I would want is somehow this thing mutating. So in the same way where like I noticed people on social media do this, where like if you put up a piece of content that like quote unquote works, right, by whatever metrics you're tracking, right? Like people are gravitating towards like memes now because they get better engagement. It's like, okay, if that's what you're after is engagement, and you're not trying to run a fucking business like an adult, then sure, put up a bunch of memes. But it's like, I didn't want like the objective outcome to be anything more than improved application of knowledge. So I didn't want to double down and be like, hey, we're going to do fucking 30 labs a week because labs are really working right now. It's like, just the same way, if I put a post up of like, this is my warm up for this, and like it gets a lot of engagement, I don't then do the next 7 posts all my warm ups. Like, yeah, I don't know, when I feel like doing another warm up one, I know it'll kind of hit, and I'll do it when I feel like it. But I don't want to like tap that well dry. So it was the same with like, yeah, we noticed like it was good, and there was relationships were forming, and even relationships forming with like, me and everyone else that I just get to, when we're teaching, I just fucking hit mute for 4 months and stare at all these faces, and hopefully I'm not offending them. And then I actually get to unmute and talk to them. So that was cool, but at no point I was like, I wanted to keep it like almost sanctimonious. Like I wanted to keep it cool. And it was that. And it was like, if you wanted to join the fucking club, then you had to go through that shared experience and kind of go through and see like how everyone interacted and behaved, and like, because there's like I've been in this Prescript is the only room of like forward thinking people that I've ever been in where there's not that one guy. Like every university lecture, there's one guy like, well, actually, it's like, fuck you, nerd. And it's like, that was something I wanted to keep.
That's awesome.
Was like,
yeah,
like I wanted to be this like a tough group of people that liked fitness. I don't know why toughness matters to me, but it's like,
I sent you that voice message of like asking about the whole kid thing, like how like you were talking about like kids being tough, or like how like all that stuff, and like I'm huge on that too. It's just tough individuals. Like notice that through Prescript is like a lot. Everybody's tough. Like
yeah, because that's the thing. No one's got a front.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. No one's got to put other people down, because it's like, I've literally had people on the internet trash me. And I was like, okay. And I tried to get their phone number and I couldn't. So I booked a plane ticket to Denver, Colorado, and I sent the guy the directions from like John Wayne Airport
What's up?
to the Ace Hardware store to the gym. And I was like, if you don't call me back, the next time you see me, I'm going to be standing in front of you with a hammer.
Boom.
And it's like, because I won't engage in it in the internet. Like, well, fuck this guy. I'm going to like repost him. It's like, no, I'm going to show up there and I'm going to beat you to an inch of your life.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
It's like, I'm willing to go there, man. So it's, I don't know, like for me, it was cool. And and as we grow and like find more people, where I realize that there is a lot of people like us out there, which is really kind of like refreshing. But I wasn't certain. I was like, man, somehow we just found a gold mine of like the raddest guys and girls around the world. And I don't want to like ruin that. I don't want to ruin the locker room. You know what I mean? Like we got a good team dynamic, and I'm not trying to bring like Brady in when he sits when he pees and just fuck everything up. Like we got a bunch of dogs.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you know, I think with so many people who are just down with what we're doing, like we're only attracting people who kind of know the rub, and like I think there's a reputation that's built purely on like the backs of people that fuck with us, that it's like, look, this is what it is. Like, you want to play like dumb games, go somewhere else, but you want to like get better, then come here.
And that's what I love about it. It's all just like growth. And I think that's what I loved about the cert too, that it's like I've taken other stuff and it's like you take the cert, take the exam, like you either pass it or you don't. And then after that, that's kind of really it, at least in my experience. Like even with school, when I went to Hamlin University for exercise science, like you would have like that unit, you learn your stuff, you take your test, and then you move on to the next thing. Like there was no applying it. There was no talking about it. There was none of that. And that's what I loved coming into Prescript, was like the fact that that was the labs. Like it was like, hey, here's what we learned about. Let's talk about it. And if you have like, that's the thing too, is like just get up and ask the question. Like if you're listening to this and you're in labs and you need to ask questions, just ask a question, because no one's going to make you feel stupid. And it's like, that was where I came into it. It was like, okay, cool. This is a place where I can actually dive into all these thoughts I've had about everything we've talked about prior without it just going to the wayside. So I think that was just pretty awesome.
And that sounding board, like that's how I really started to synthesize my thoughts, was like just being able to verbalize it. Like I used the Instagram story for years as a way to like, you know, put together like almost sound bites. Like people know my stance on shit, like almost verbatim. Like James McIntosh, people think I write the Instagram for for Prescript. It's not me. It's not. But Mac's like, hey, what dumb bullshit does Shallow think about this? Pretty much hits it like out of the park because sometimes I wake up like, why did I have time to wait? I didn't write this. But it's like that, you know, like the level 1 manual started as like me just trying to synthesize my thoughts 7 years ago. And then like every patient I'd have when I was in practice, and every like client I'd train online, every time I came across like, you know, I got to explain the fucking the over under grip to a lot of people. Like, what is my stance on like, oh well, supination and external rotation and pronation and internal rotation, blah blah blah. I was like, okay. And then I just wrote it down, and then I verbalized it. Then I put up a Q&A, and someone asked me, and I fucked around like 10 times trying to get it right. And I got it right enough. And then someone asked me fucking 2 weeks later, and I said it better the next time. And then by the time I got to putting the courses together, it was like I had all the sound bites down. Right. So the labs, I think for some people, like, you know, it's not, I don't think it's a surprise that people who gravitate towards this type of learning have some skin in the game when it comes to a digital business. So it's like social media becomes a huge part of lead acquisition in the digital fitness space. So if you can use labs as a way to get your feet wet and ask questions, some people don't even turn their cameras on. Dog, like, come to the fucking party. Like, and that's like, I wanted to be able to provide like a very disarmed place. And it's like, because look, if motherfuckers ever started to get out of hand, I would flame them. I would flex on them so fucking hard they wouldn't know which way was up, because it's like, you just don't bring that shit here.
I love that you brought up the camera thing, because like no matter what, I'll have mine on. Like there's times like, you know, I have 2 kids running around, like all that stuff, like, but I'll still be there, my stuff muted, like camera on, giving my full attention, like kid on my lap chilling with me no matter what. But it's like, show up, like be there, and it gives you that chance to just do that. And I don't know, I love that you brought that up, because it's like, it definitely, I didn't do it at first for sure. Like I was like so nervous coming into it, and I was like, I don't want to show my face. And then like I was just, hey bro,
What?
All right.
Oh, you heard?
Hey,
I'm just new to this microphone
fine, bro.
stuff.
Wait, that's fine, dog. We throw the gloves on when you come next, homie. Let's go. I'll run it.
Nah, you know what I noticed you do is you make that public. Like you were on a Mind Pump not too long ago saying exactly that. Like, listen, if I catch you doing some bullshit out there, I'll just call you, I'll refund you your money and take the fucking thing back. And I noticed that on like early lectures on like a PSL 1, like 1 or like 2 or 3 in, making these statements clear. Like, yo, fuck around with Renee. I have all your addresses. Saying things like that, you know what I mean? Or even like, yo, 007s, whatever the fuck. Like, where, you know what I mean? Like, making it clear, like, yo, listen, if you're going to be in these things, this is how it's going to be. Yeah. And I think that's a great way to go about it, because it's not like placating to what a lot of the society does now. Is like people's natural weaknesses or insecurities to not have the thing on, to put the name, to talk some shit, to be an asshole kind of, you know? Yeah. And like, I think that almost forces it out. It's like, if you want to get involved with this, is how it's going to be. And then it's not like we're a group of assholes, but we're, like you said, we're more real individuals. Like, this is it. Our cards are on the table. This is who each individual of us are collectively. And that's just the way it goes. And I think that's something that's you stating the way you do and the confidence you have in it is what creates the whole collective of it. Well, I look to put the collective out there that's coming out soon. Like, I'm a fucking dude.
Company, man. You're a company, man.
Oh my God. I'm a fucking, you know what I mean? Sign me. I'm going to get a gold watch in like 40 years. You know what I'm saying?
Like, can I get one? Yeah, that's skin in the game, man. Yeah. Like, and that's the thing. That's why I teach the classes live. Like, that's why I don't pre-record anything. Like, and look, and there's sometimes where it's tough. Like, I'm going back on the road in like a few days. And I'm going to have a semester, at least one semester, that I'm going to be fucking running and gunning with my laptop again. Like,
yeah, I think when I was
and people don't like
you were doing that. You were like on vacation with your girl or something, like still showing up, like doing your thing.
The cave.
Yeah.
The
McDonald's lecture, dog.
Yeah, the McDonald's lectures, bro.
But it's like, you know, I guess, you know, for me, I'm still in this, man. Like, you know, I'll start first semester of level 1, and I got it planned out. It's like I'll have a conference room in a House of Athlete because I'm running assessments for the NFL 2022 combine class. So it's like, wow. Because like, you know, if I'm teaching you guys about coaching stuff, it's like, I better be coaching, right? Yes. Like, and it's like, yeah, you might have to deal with the fucking manager's office in a PF Chang's in somewhere in fucking Vegas, or you might have to deal with, McDonald's in Sunny Isles for a lecture. But it's like, it's because I'm still doing this. I'm not just sitting back living off the fucking interest. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not running some bullshit mentorship thing. Like, I'm fucking trying to make this something where you could go in and be like, I got this level 1. Like, I know this dude. Yeah. Because this dude was here like fucking 3 weeks ago. Like, so it means a lot to me that, you know, if I'm going to be out there, you know, running and gunning, like, look, I'm not complaining, but it's like, you know, I'll have to do lectures from airports. I've done 10, 15 lectures from airports. I've done it. I had to go to the CEO of Whoop, Will Ahmed, after a podcast. And I was like, man, that ran way too long. Can I use your office to teach a lecture? So I'm literally in the CEO of downtown Boston, like stone's throw from fucking Wrigley or whatever the fuck. Was it Wrigley Field? Not Chicago. And I'm fucking sitting there in his office teaching. It's like, I have to do this, but it's because I can't just record it. Like, the first semester and this 10th, 12th, however many times I've done the level 1, completely different.
I've noticed that through your stories and stuff. It constantly is changing, like the stuff you're doing in this.
And it's like, if I'm going to be doing this and keeping like skin in the game, you can turn your camera on.
Yep.
Right. Like, you can turn your camera on.
Isn't that nuts though? Like,
yeah.
This is something I see a lot, is the whole, the people that they just need to take a break from social media. I just don't get that, because I'm like, why are you there? What's the need to put it away?
It's because it's something. Yeah, I don't know.
Why do we do this? Is that how? Like, what is that? It's not even me trying to judge it. Because it's so disconnected from me. I just don't get it.
Okay, you know? So what are you saying? Are you saying that, like, being a person who has to take time away from social media is something you don't understand?
I think so. I don't understand that.
I'm right there with you. Because here's the thing. It's like, you're you on social media. Like you're but that's it, right? Like, and that's 100% it. Like when I met you, we met at Akash's wedding. In my brain, like, when did you meet Lou? I was like, when was Vietnam? Me and Lou met when I was in Vietnam. Me and Lou were in Vietnam together, and that's impossible. But like, that's how long I've been knowing Lou for. But it's like, that's, to me, like, if you have to take a break from social media, you have to take a break from the avatar of yourself that you're playing on social media. It's like, someone asked me, like, should I have a personal or a business Instagram? I was like, what? It's the same thing, man. Like, that's what branding is that self-awareness we talked about earlier. So it's like, I'm 100% with you on that, in the sense that, like, if you're just you, it's the Mark Twain thing, right? If you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said, right? So it's like, you don't have to take a break from that, which is crazy to me.
And they always come back like 2 days later.
It's like,
2, 3.
I'm gonna be out of here. I'm gonna be
not that
I'm
watching.
And
no, they don't have to. They announce it.
Yeah, they announce it.
But
that's what I'm saying.
It's like, because
guess what?
Now we're just gonna go rabbit holes now with reality. Like we were thinking about earlier, like metaverse and shit. I'm like, yo, what is Because a kid that's like, for instance, my neighbor the other day got a gift for Christmas. He's like 10, 12, maybe 13. Gets the Oculus thing you put on your face, and he goes, now I can go hang out with my friends.
Whoa.
What? And I'm like, wait, what? Now you can? You couldn't just hop on a bike, knock on a door. Oh, is Timmy home? Hey, Miss Oragatha, is Timmy home? No. Now we're going on the Oc. And I'm like, all right, to us here, it's like, holy shit. But to that kid. So now it's like, you gotta, Jesus Christ, I hate even thinking about it. You gotta like almost go into this. Especially you want to have an online business, you want to do this shit, they gotta go into this world. And then it's like having an understanding, like, wow, we're just gonna be very different in our thoughts, but kind of the exact same, because we all have that innate human shit in us, the survival, all that bullshit. So it's like, what really is gonna be reality at one point? Like, what is the difference? You know what I mean? And like, oh, geez, you could just
consequences. That'll always be our calibration tool.
You mean in the sense of, if I spend all day long on the Oculus, not really benefiting life, and then I take it off, the consequence to that?
Well, more so the consequence inside of it, right? Like,
nothing positive and or negative. Yeah. Like, you're not going to be able to reach highs as high or lows as low, which you need both. I don't think
within the virtual world, you mean?
Yeah.
But what if they let you do the way they're talking about metaverse? Why would
metaverse?
Why would you want to take this off though? But why would you? But why would you?
It ain't gonna work now.
But why would you want to actually go work for your life? When you can just plug in and everything you've ever dreamed of is right here at your fingertips.
I don't think we've evolved that way, man. I don't think it catches.
I don't either. But fucking now I can go hang out with my friends. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. That is some shit, and like he's not sitting there thinking about it like philosophically. It's just a reaction. Yes, now I can go hang out with my friends.
Yeah, I won't. You know what? It's just another distraction. Yeah. If it wasn't the Oculus, it was something else. It's just this generation. I don't think it's anything.
So do you think this is going to overflow? Like, not overflow, but it's going to cycle?
Oh, it always does for sure.
I think, but
we haven't had technology like this though. Like, we've had technology.
But you have to think every generation says that though. Every generation. Every generation
says that.
Well, think about like my mom.
Dude,
my mom didn't have an iPhone.
Was the craziest thing.
Yeah, think about like, my great grandma. She lived to 103. She was around when the iPhone came out. Still, right? Like, I mean, she was up all the way into like the iPhone 10. Think about what she had 100 years ago, or 95, or whatever, when she could recollect memory. Like,
yeah, what'd she have?
I mean, nothing.
Pen and paper.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So like every time
Morse code.
Yeah, every time shit came out, she was like, "Whoa, we've never had this before. We never had this."
But that's my point.
So
now it's almost like,
I think like it's just
I don't know if you're blowing it. I hope you guys are right. Look at my brain. We're fighting robots in 20 years. That's why I'm working out.
Think of like robots. Parents like me, right? Like my two sons, like they won't have that stuff. Like they won't be doing that. I will be outside playing with them if it comes down to it. If they don't want to go make friends, like I will be out there doing stuff with them, doing that stuff. So I think it comes down to something more so along those lines of like, what can we do on that end of things?
I hope you guys are. Oh man, so glad I went here, because I'm sitting here like it's over. Like, not that it's over, because I'm looking forward to fighting Mark Zuckerberg's pussy ass robots. But
he said,
like,
"I'm gonna iRobot this shit."
I just think it's like, yo, nuts.
No.
And I have a tough time learning technology, so I really do.
Yeah, dude, you're my caveman.
I think it's just because COVID had everyone so reliant on technology that the hype behind it is so artificially inflated that people are going to realize, like, wait, they're going to come out of this like COVID fucking bender they're on and be like, I spent $900,000 on a PDF of a monkey. What the fuck is an NFT right now? What are you telling me? Why did no one talk me down from this? Why did you let me do this? This is the craziest, dumbest thing ever.
It's still so new.
Like,
yeah.
Right? Like GameStop, AMC, all that bullshit, NFTs, metaverse. It'll be gone as quick as it came up, man. People are going to snap out of it.
I love that you took it that way, Lou.
I really, really hope you guys are right on this.
Because what? Because some guy's gonna be walking down the street, and I'll just jack him.
Yeah, like
that's the fuck I'm saying.
Now you got real world problems.
Yep. But he won't know until he comes out.
But what if everyone? What if everyone that doesn't abide? Dude, what if you don't abide by our metaverse rules, Mr. Shallow?
What are my consequences? What are you gonna do?
We'll create laws, motherfucker.
Well, different.
I mean, where are you going to enforce them?
Yeah.
Where am I going to enforce them?
In real life or in the metaverse?
I'm going to enforce them in real life. And then what, you think you can go to metaverse and do what you want?
Well, no. What are you going to do? Put me in jail?
Yes. Yeah. With no Oculus. And then you got to do jail things.
It's not going to happen. No way. I'd rather do jail things.
So?
Put me on a chain. No chance. Because, like, here's the thing. The Oculus, all that VR stuff, all that metaverse is like, that's just going to create a wedge. You're going to have like Gotham City. Because you know who's not going to have that? Already desperate, broke people. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what are they gonna do? It's like they're gonna go get theirs, man. Like, and it's gonna be easy because you're gonna be plugged into the matrix, and they're just gonna be jocking your shit.
Yep.
And you're gonna have to recharge your batteries, and you're gonna realize that your benzo is on cinder blocks.
What if they hand out Oculuses to everybody and make it part of the civil duty to check in on metaverse every day?
I think they'll be suspicious. There'll be suspicion arise with that. I don't think there's no way where this gets past the gate.
Yeah,
I think so.
Happen.
I just watched The Matrix too, didn't I?
He's all in it right now.
I got this on my mind, dude. I think we're just all gonna be in some embryo, and robot. Mr. Smith is gonna.
How much has your day to day really changed in the last 2 years?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Well, I think that's. Like, not very fair. He did lose a finger. Now he's sitting at home.
Well, yeah,
it's a little bit different.
Yeah. But like, how much does that had to do with like emerging technology? How much of it has to do with even COVID regulations? Yeah. Like, I don't put a mask on in my building anymore. My life is the exact same as it was 2 years ago. The exact same. There's just them.
That's nuts, dude.
Yeah, we love you for it.
Thank you.
But it's like you gotta stay ready. You'll be ready. Yeah. You'll be the guy I call.
Looking forward to it.
If the toasters start wiling out, like the robots start coming, I'm like, all right, Lou's been ready.
Yeah, it's gonna be fast forward 20 years. I'm gonna be pulling up on some type of gasoline powered chopper that's not allowed anymore with the rebels. You know what I mean? I got bullets strapped like this X across my bare chest because you're not allowed to have hair anymore because we all have to be hairless. And I come pick you up, and you're just sitting there like, how'd you know? And I'm like. You know what I mean?
I'll say I told you so, and we'll roll deep.
Yeah. And that's it. And then we'll be good.
It'll be like the book of Eli, the book of Luke.
Literally, just when I pull up to your Airbnb, Lou, and you got here, I just set my thing on the table. You're like, oh, yeah, that's right. We can't have those in New York. I was like, oh, yeah, dude. Always got my crew.
Yeah, we're ready.
That's I love that we went that route. That's interesting to see your standpoint on all that because I agree with you. I think we're gonna come around, and it's gonna be something that's just gonna fade away, like. Some of the other things may not fade away, but it won't be this thing where like everybody's plugged in. Like, even if it does get to a point, I think it'll be unplugged.
But they said the same thing about the internet when it first came out.
Yeah, but
they said the same thing. We are the ones who operate this, and like we get to choose how we are on the internet, right? So it's like it's on.
Zoom out. Zoom out. Yeah. You got to zoom out. Everyone zoomed in too much. It's like this isn't a massive historical inflection point. Mm-hmm. Imagine fire, dude. Imagine fire. Imagine us fucking sitting around while some fourth guy's over there just like sparking flints. Like, what the fuck is happening here? Are you joking me? Yeah. This is it. We're all going to be run by fire gods. It's just like...
Well, we kind of were for a while. Because then we started bowing down to them.
Zoom out. Zoom out now. It's like, oh, okay, we're sweet, dude. None of this pops off in a meaningful way before we're dead. I got 30 years left if I play my cards right. I'm straight.
Calm down. You probably got a little more than that, but you're 30
man,
something.
I'm halfway through a really exciting life. I've already decided that. I'm not a third of the way through it.
What are you going to get into, like, drugs and shit soon or something like that we don't know about? Like, I got a heroin addiction I got popping up around 50, and that's going to set me off.
Nah, I'm not a third of the way through a kind of boring life. I think I'm halfway through a really exciting one.
If you're
I think you're just getting going.
How do you want to go out? Like, what's your ideal way? Like, if you're
large animal.
Yeah, like
fighting
like a bear
one
fight or something.
It doesn't matter. I think I want to go in the ocean. I just want to
like no fighting chance though. Just getting taken under by a shark and just letting it rip.
Yeah, fuck yeah, man. Just let it go, man. Just let it go. I want to go out the same way we came in. I want to zoom it all the way out.
Yeah.
I want to bring it back to where it started. I want to get I'm moving to Dubai in a few weeks, and part of my goal in 2022, and I hate earmarking it off of like time, but like part of my goal in the short term is to get my dive license.
Okay.
So that I can, I can just take off and just fucking
just go dive.
Imagine fish seeing you in the ocean. Like, what the fuck is that? Stop, like, dude. That's a big fucking not us.
Shark rolls up like, oh, hold up, no, I'm going this way, bro.
Oh shit! Now I'm gonna go for that little guy. Fuck that little thin, maybe. This guy's got a lot on him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's how I want to go. Big animal.
Yeah.
Just take some metal shit. Some just fucking.
Got it.
All right. What if you survive though? Now, what if you survive?
Oh, I'm going back in.
Nice.
Going round 2.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, no.
You're ready at this point. You're like, nope, I didn't have it yet.
Get your friends, bro. This is awesome. Yeah. Oh man, like shark attacks. Beat the shit out of all those bitches.
Yeah, whatever, man.
That's amazing.
I don't know. I'll be real.
Maybe go big at endangered species. You know what I mean? Something you're not supposed to even go near, and you're over like, fuck you, bare hands.
Blue whale.
Yeah,
I think it'd be the one. Whale. Just like something
that didn't even swallow you.
That's I'm Jonah, dog. Then I'm going.
That's how Nemo happened.
That's fine. I'll just live in the whale. I'll be like Jonah. They wrote a book about me.
Yep.
Just chilling.
Just comes out the blowhole.
Learning some stuff. You know.
Prescript flagging.
It'd be better than just like riding the fucking bus home or some shit, and some guy like pulls a snub nose or something. Like, fuck this. That's not no.
Yeah, no.
I want to fucking in the ocean, some epic shit. Something the size of a goddamn city bus.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. That's how I want to go.
That's
because that's what I think it should take.
See, there's where it comes from.
Wow.
There's where it comes from. Yeah. I like that.
It's like, some shithead with a revolver on a bus. Like, exactly. No, not today. Not ever.
No. Like, no, I feel
been ready. I'm like you with the robots. Like, this is what I'm ready for this.
That's some shit. Because I think now, like, think about all the pussies that went out like that, like John Lennon, Gandhi. You know what I mean? That just went out with a bullet. Yeah. Abraham Lincoln. I mean, the list goes on. You know what I mean? JFK. Come on, just a bullet? Like, you guys real? I mean, even if there was a couple bullets, the JFK thing, Mafia might have been wrong. But, like, bullets? Really? Anyone go with that?
Mother Nature.
Fight a whale.
I love that. Fight a whale.
I love that. All right. Well, I think we'll probably start wrapping up on that. But before we go, hey, I want you to let everybody know kind of like what you have going on, because I know you have some cool stuff coming where you're going to be in the States and stuff like that, and let people know where to find all that at and where to get at you.
Yo, dude, I don't even know anymore. Prescript, we're doing an upper body intensive in San Jose at Mind Pump Studios, January 15th, 16th. I'm moving to Dubai the weekend after that. Then I'm going to be in the UK. I'm speaking at Performax in London on the 18th and 19th of March. We're going to be in Rotherham at Ultraflex Gym with Luke Miller and No Switch Fitness for hypertrophy intensive on the 22nd, 23rd. Going to be in Bolton, just outside of Manchester, this April 2nd and April 3rd. I'm going to be in Belgrade in Serbia, April 9th. Back here in Toronto for May 14th. Doing an upper body intensive at Pure. We're PSL1 is up for registration currently, closes on January 10th. Prescript barbell course is getting relaunched in the next week. That'll be up for sale. That's now a 9-week course taught with me and Stu Locke. Skill acquisition is also going back up for sale early January. The Prescript Collective will be coming January 15th. More information on that just keep an eye out on social media. Instagram's at _muscle_doc. All of the Prescript stuff is at www.pre-script.com. There's more, but I'll just leave it at that.
I'll just, you know what I'll do? Make it easy for everybody. Go down to the show notes. There'll be a little link tree. Sure, it's going to go right to everything. Right to everything you need.
Appreciate you.
All right, everybody. Well, just know that everybody is capable of being extreme.